And we are live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the first ever Into the Music podcast. Here we are. And it is a week before Christmas already. So where did 2024 go? We're here, most of us in Wisconsin. We've got Deven Berryhill from the Tourmaliners and The Surfaris coming to us from San Diego. Frank Anderson. Like I was just telling these folks. No, you're right there, Frank. Like I was just telling these folks, my favorite historian, my favorite music historian, great guy, good coffee, good dude to have coffee with. And then we have Tyler Sjostrom, or Tyler S.J. Tyler just is coming off of a major tour of North Dakota. There he is. We've got.
Well, that was easy.
Whoa.
Wow. There he is. Wow. I know some of these people, don't I? And unfortunately for them, they know me. Yes.
And welcome to Steve March-Tormé, who is coming off of a major gig tonight.
I was singing. Well, I've reached the, as Norm Crosby used to say, I reached the pinnacle of my career. I want to tell you, folks. Yes, I was singing with the Neenah High School Symphony Orchestra tonight.
Oh, nice.
With the very brilliant Phil Smith. So that was fun.
They have a symphony orchestra?
Oh, they have everything at that school. They have. It's. I went to a fairly substantial, fairly wealthy high school, and Neenah High School dwarfs it. It's not even close. But I did get to watch for the first time since I was in high school. Sitting on the ground floor, I watched the first half of the varsity basketball game. So that was fun. Sitting right there and seeing those guys. And these are little high school kids. No, they're all 3 inches taller than you are, Steve. So, right. Anyway, it was fun. So how is everybody?
Good.
Just getting to know each other.
Yep. And we just have one more intro to make here. Danny and Michelle Jerabek from Copperbox.
Hey, guys.
Hey, guys.
Well, Danny knows that his brother just worked with me about a month ago doing that video over at the high school. You've seen it, I assume.
I did see it. Yes.
You like it? Did you like one beat?
No, I didn't like it at all. No, it was great, Steve. You know, I'm razzing you. Yeah, it's those guys are so much fun to like work with, and you know, Dave and Joe just do a heck of a job. And
yeah, it was really fun, and I don't collaborate a lot. I mostly write by myself. And when Sly Joe said, "Well, here's what we do: we collaborate, we write a song together." That process was interesting. He's such a good musician, and fortunately, both of us are open to. No, it doesn't have to be my way. It's like, oh, okay, that's an interesting idea. I like that, and why don't we take this? And one beat ended up being a really good song. So that was fun. I thank Sly Joe for doing that, and your brother. Your brother was great.
I like him.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Tyler, I would love to be there for you on Thursday for August Haven. We have a concert in Marinette. I can't do it, but I would love to have met you then.
Well, we'll meet another time. Okay. We're meeting now. We're gonna get them all out. Get it all out right now.
Good point. And Frank, I've heard a lot about you.
Likewise, Steve.
Yeah.
Well, here's the deal. We're all in one way or another connected to 91.1 The Avenue. Steve, you're the morning and the afternoon guy on the air.
I'm the weekdays every morning, every afternoon, and Saturday morning too.
Yep.
So I'm on the air more than I want to hear me. But that's
okay. And Frank, you have your podcast Wisconsinology that runs several times a week on the station.
Yeah. Does it still run?
It sure does.
I think so, yeah.
I haven't done it in a while. I don't know.
Yes, Frank always has great stories about stuff you would never, ever, ever think of, and they're always really interesting. Good stuff.
Well, that's nice of you to say.
It's true.
It's one of my subjects right there.
And who's that?
Dave Dudley, the king of truck driving music from Stevens Point, Wisconsin.
There he is.
And a great baseball player.
Was he really?
Yeah.
I know you're talking my arena now.
Yeah, well, he could have done it.
You can't tell, can you?
I know. It's amazing. I have 3 baseballs. They're all autographed by Don Money.
Nice.
That's it.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty obscure, but that's pretty cool.
Well, he asked me. He said,
I don't think I have a brewer up there. Not one.
Oh,
so got to get to work on that.
No Hank Aaron?
Oh, you know what? I take that back. I do have a Hank Aaron ball. You are absolutely right. I sit corrected.
All right. Well, the others of us here, Danny and Michelle, Deven via the Tourmaliners, and Tyler have all been played on 91.1 the Avenue and continue to be played on the Avenue. And myself, I've got Into the Music that airs Sunday nights at 8 o'clock on the Avenue. So we're all tied in. We want to give a shout out to Rob Moore, Ann Koenig, Amanda, everybody at the Avenue. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, Melissa Rasmussen. Yep.
Yes, Melissa.
It's a small crew, and a lot of people wear multiple hats, but they do a very good job at it.
They certainly do. They do. Well, folks, we're here to talk about Christmas music. It is the season, and boy, I don't know where we want to start because we've all got some connection to it. And man, the one thing that has been going through my mind is when I was assembling this crew together, and I asked Frank to be on this, and he goes, "Do you want a Maury Laws expert?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So one thing that, here we are in Northeast Wisconsin, and actually for the last 35 years of his life, Frank, correct me if I'm mistaken on this, Maury was one of us.
He certainly was. And he came here the same way Steve did. He married into Appleton. You did, right, Steve?
Married to my wife? Really?
She's from...
The things you learn, the things you find out. Yeah, he married into Appleton, and you're absolutely right, Frank. That's how I ended up here. You are correct.
Yeah, and we lose talent, but we get them back through marriage. And
one of the first people that I met when I moved here was Maury. I met Maury like the first year I was here, and can't think of his name at the moment. Who was the guy that was so associated with Lawrence University who passed away a few years ago? Big Cubbies fan.
Oh, the jazz guy.
Yeah.
Fred. No.
It'll come to you. But those
it'll come.
Yes.
But Maury was, I didn't know him well, but I studied his history and had a nice chat with him. I've never heard a man, he's a pro's pro. He arranged every day for years in Hollywood. He was the Rankin Bass music director. He had an office in London. He had an office in New York. He had an office in LA. And he ended up here. And I've never heard a man take 4 instruments, make an arrangement for a singer and make it sound like 16 pieces. Just extraordinary. He did it by subtraction. He pulled back. What musicians, you want everybody to hold back, right? Not just give it all the time. And Maury was an absolute master at that. But 1964, his big year, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He took Johnny Mark's music and he arranged it all across that whole show that so many millions of people are familiar with. Mm-hmm. And that did it. From that point on, it was one great Rankin Bass piece after another. My favorite, Mad Monster Party. I love that one. Danny, Michelle, do you guys do The Mummy, that song? Maury wrote it. Do you do it?
Mm-mm.
Devin, do you do it? What? Oh, Mad Monster Party, Do the Mummy. One of Maury's greatest compositions. I love it.
Well, and Danny and Michelle, who we've had them over at August Haven, but I get to see them every single year at our friend Ron Emanuel's party.
Oh yeah.
Copperbox comes in and they play in this great backyard. And Ron Emanuel is one of our friends from Fond du Lac. He and I are both on the board at the Thelma Sadoff Center for the Arts. Mm-hmm. And Danny, Michelle, and Dave and the band put on a great afternoon of music for everybody, and it's just a blast. I first saw Copperbox, I don't know, when we first moved out here about 19 years ago. I saw you guys. I told you this, Danny. I saw you in Ripon. And you told me that you were very close friends with Harrison Ford, and I still don't believe it.
Well, I kind of looked like him, a little bit. I always wanted to be Han Solo, anyways. But
well, you got a little bit of that about you. You're mischievous, as the kids say.
Pirate, yeah, scoundrel.
They are.
What kind of music are you going to do on Thursday?
Well, are you talking to me or to Danny?
No, I'm talking to you, Tyler.
I didn't know if they had a gig on Thursday too. So we're gonna play. I've got a full band together, and we're gonna play my Christmas album.
Oh, great!
And then so play all of that, and then a couple of favorites, my favorites, to kind of pull the thing around. And we've got Adam Plowman from you'd probably know from like Miles Neeson, Rusted Hearts, and he was in Corey's band a while back and
Groove Hogs too.
Yeah, Groove Hogs.
Way back in the day, 20 years ago.
And so it'll be I know we're getting like 4 inches of snow that day too. So I'm gonna be
of course.
I'm gonna be just like I'm gonna run through a wall, man. I'm ready for that Christmas spirit, baby.
How many people here have a Christmas album? Raise your hand.
Well, I have a Christmas song.
Devin? You don't have a package. You don't have the CD package?
Well, no, I mean, the song that I wrote called "I Remember Christmas Time." We're playing that. That's gone to Hallmark. Oh, that's really nice. Nice.
Whoa!
Cool. LP.
Pull it out again. Wow!
And it's white. Oh man!
Oh.
Of course it is.
That's real sexy.
Very nice.
Wow. Yeah, that looks cool.
We will put out "I Remember Christmas Time" as a single this year, and at some point, Michael Murphy and I will probably do a Christmas album. It would make sense, so we'll do that.
And you've written, Michael played me a song that you wrote.
Yeah, I remember Christmas time, and I did not write it because my dad wrote a Christmas song. It wasn't like, well, Dad wrote one, I have to. It just kind of came about from my moving here and having children and kind of looking back at what Christmas was like when I was a kid and how I see it through their eyes now. And I'm really proud of it. I mean, the song came out beautifully, and it's being played on the Avenue right now, as is Tyler's music, as is Copperbox's music. So pretty happy about that.
Devin, tell us about your Christmas record.
Yeah.
What songs did you pick?
Well, one of my two of my favorite things, Christmas things, in terms of media are, I always loved the Ventures Christmas album, their instrumental Christmas album.
Tops.
They're playing that nonstop the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Michelle's going nuts, but
we love it.
It is so cool.
I love that, and my favorite Christmas movie was always White Christmas with Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye. So I kind of took the aesthetic. You can kind of tell it kind of looks like White Christmas, the red with the holly.
That's really cool.
It looks great. It looks absolutely great.
And on the back, you can kind of see all the font is, that kind of, I don't know, it looks kind of European, kind of German Hofbrauhaus look or something. I don't know. But anyway, the music itself, another thing is I love a lot of the old hymns, Christmas, the original Christmas carols. But, the other thing is when, as you guys know, as recording artists, yourself probably, public domain is a really good thing when you're putting out, when you're doing covers. So you don't have to pay anything for these songs too.
Eric Goldie would debate that.
They're 200 years old or something. So some of them, and so we were able to. I basically chose 10 of my favorite classics, but then did kind of the Ventures thing to it and threw my own little spin on it. And we did a lot of the classics. We Three Kings of Orient Are, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen, Joy to the World, Holy Night, Oh Holy Night. That was one of my favorites. And then we took, I don't know if you guys remember the old surf movie, Endless Summer.
Yeah.
Bruce Brown.
Theme.
Bruce Brown directed it.
Right, yeah, Bruce Brown. I took the classic theme of the movie, the soundtrack, and put music to "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," the melody of that over the top of the rhythm section, the acoustic guitar, kind of the campy sound there, and then
Nice.
Hark the Herald Angels Sing. We did Green Sleeves, Away in the Manger, First Noel, Silent Night, and then closed the whole album out with We Wish You a Merry Christmas. So
Now, Deven, I've noticed that the Christmas song "Chestnuts Roasting" is not there. You know why? Because we would have made you pay.
It wasn't great.
I understand about the publishing business.
I was waiting for that.
I understand that. So yeah,
I have a since you're all musicians, I've got a quick joke for you. May I?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. A guy walks into a bar and he looks at the bartender and he says, "Hey, if I show you something really cool, can I get a free drink?" The bartender says, "Yeah, what do you got?" He pulls a little toy piano out of his pocket. He puts it on the bar and he pulls a little mouse out. And the mouse sits down and starts playing the piano like Billy Joel. The bartender says, "Wow, yeah, you've got a free drink coming. That's great." The guy says, "If I show you something even better, can I drink for free all night?" The guy says, "Hey, knock your socks off. What do you got?" He pulls a frog out of his pocket. He puts the frog down on the bar. The mouse starts playing piano. The frog sings like Nat King Cole. He's fantastic. The bartender says, "You're drinking all night." A guy at the end of the bar has been listening to this. He comes on down and he says, "Hey, I tell you what, I'll give you $5,000 for the frog right now." The guy says, "Nah, that frog's worth more than that to me. I'll give you $15,000 in cash, no questions asked, right now. You got a deal." He gives him the frog, takes the money. The guy walks out of the bar. He's happy as heck. The bartender walks in and he goes, "Why would you possibly sell that frog for $15,000? You could make hundreds of thousands of dollars with that frog." The guy says, "Well, the mouse is also a ventriloquist." It's the only clean joke I know.
That's a good one.
Bada bing.
Bada bing.
Bada bing. Hey, going back to Deven's album, The Tourmaliners Surfing Christmas Carols, that was my introduction to the Tourmaliners and kind of the gateway to Deven and I getting to meet each other. And that is such a fabulous album. Now, a little background on that, Deven. That was recorded during COVID, right?
Yeah. It was a COVID album. It was a good. I always wanted to do a Christmas album. Never really had the time, so it was kind of one of those things where, well, I got the time now, so here we go. Home studio it is.
Right. And again, it was one of those things where I had just actually come upon the Ventures Christmas album myself. And I got interested in hearing what else was out there, in that surf style. And really, Surfing Christmas Carols, I think, was one of the first ones I came across. And it didn't take me 2 minutes of listening before I bought it. It is such a good album. Go out, Spotify, YouTube, or whatever, and just take it in and go to Bandcamp and pick it up.
Yeah. We had a lot of fun. It was one of those things where, during that time, we all know as musicians, many of us were, it was a great opportunity to sit down and write and, practice our craft, become better at what we do. I mean, it's what a lot of people did that, I guess, musicians. And so during that time, I think I did 2 albums. We did this Christmas album, and then we did our Surfiti album as well. The later, as we were coming out of COVID, we started being able to get together as a band and do things more live together. But I think a lot of us took those opportunities and just sat down and kind of took something off the shelf you've been wanting to do for a long time. You just didn't have, paint the house kind of thing. It was just one of those moments. And so it was fun to do. And my kids were at home. They were in high school at the time still. And so at least my youngest was. And so, they got to hear all these old songs and they'd be like, Dad, what is this old stuff? It's a whole educational moment for the kids too.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I took that opportunity and painted our house. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here. So what are some of your guys' favorite Christmas songs that people might be surprised by?
I'm a big fan of the Ray Charles Christmas album. And I think that Spirit of Christmas is a really great song. That's kind of underappreciated.
Mm-hmm. Well, a guy that could sing anything at any time and everybody would dig it. I think he was actually underappreciated. That great voice, and he didn't have to sing one note. He was that good a piano player. So, what a great talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
I really like L. Hurt Christmas. Big L. Hurt, the jazz trumpet.
Oh yeah. Forever New York Saints fan. I'm New Orleans Saints, excuse me. Yep.
Big L. Hurt.
I'm trying to think, and you know what's a real classic that so many people love, and we played here at the house. When I was a kid, I probably didn't want to hear it because it was a little too saccharine for my taste. But now with 2 daughters and everybody loves it, that Carpenter's Christmas album is phenomenal.
It is.
I mean, the arrangements that Richard Carpenter put together for that, and there's some really great clusters in some of the vocals. And I found out afterwards that's Richard and Karen, period. There are no other studio singer. They did all of it. And that's a beautiful album. So just my 2 cents.
Yeah. And did she drum?
Pardon?
Did she drum on them?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
She's a great drummer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I've been watching Karen Carpenter drumming videos past month.
Yeah, she can straight out play. Yeah. Absolutely. So what are you guys going to do for Christmas? Any performing plans?
What's that?
Any performing plans up until Christmas?
This week is
going to be there Thursday.
Yeah, and I'm kind of, because I've got this, the album just came out like 4 weeks ago, whatever. So I've been playing a lot this month.
Oh, good.
So I'm really looking forward to like December 22nd and not playing anymore for a little while. And so is my wife. And my kids. Well, I mean, they're probably indifferent, but like but Rob was saying my big tour. I went to North Dakota last week, and I'm from a little town like 40 miles from the Canadian border, kind of in the middle of the state. And I went and played this big old theater there, and it was really fun. It's really far, and it's really cold. So.
You're from there?
I'm from North Dakota, yeah.
From that town?
It's called Kandu.
Hence your Norwegian last name?
Right.
Yeah. I got tons of relatives in North Dakota.
I'm sure I know them.
I know you.
It's that kind of place.
You guys
you might be one of them.
We might be related.
Yeah, you guys might be cousins.
Grandpa, is that you?
Oh, ouch.
No.
I was thinking like uncle, but
I have a little brother who's almost as big a smartass as I am, maybe more so. And he asked me if I was there for the birth of our first child, my daughter Ruby. And I said, yeah. He said, well, did Ruby come out and go, Grandpa? I said, oh, that's real funny.
Brothers, I'll tell you.
All right. Wisconsin farmer driving down the road, and he gets pulled over by a cop. And there's a bunch of penguins in the back of his truck. And the cop says, hey, what's the deal here? What's with the penguins? The guy says, well, they're mine. They're my penguins. He goes, no. First of all, people don't own penguins. They certainly don't in Wisconsin. So you turn around right now and you take them to the zoo. So I go, all right, fine. He turns around, he drives off. Next day, the same farmer, same truck, same cop pulls him over. The penguins are in the back of the truck and they're all wearing sunglasses. And the cop says, I thought I told you to take them to the zoo. He says, I did. Today I'm going to take them to the beach. But you know, ladies and gentlemen, hey, look, that's the only clean jokes I know.
Steve, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Then and maybe like, so from like a Christmas music standpoint. So like I'm a very nostalgic person, my association with Christmas music is generational, but like not in the same way as if, say, my dad had written a famous Christmas song. And so I wondered, like, like the way that I consumed Christmas music as a child informs the songs I like now, and all the songs that, was it different in your house because they were coming from within the house? That sounds creepy, but like
legitimate question. And for some of the people that kind of know me or don't, I didn't live with my dad past the age of 2.
Okay.
So I was brought up by another person in show business, a guy who was the host of the $64,000 Question Show. He was an actor. It's what's interesting for me with that song is, we're doing these concerts. We have a run of 10 concerts this month, and in half of them, my daughters are singing that song with me. So they're getting on stage singing their grandfather's song with their dad. And so we're talking 3 generations that are connected to the Christmas song. And I think when I was younger and, he and I weren't together and I was living with basically the March family, it was still interesting every Christmas time to hear that song on the radio, and my chest would puff again. My dad wrote that song. Mm-hmm. And to hear different permutations of it, all the different versions of it, some of which I like a lot, and some of which are pretty straight ahead and not that interesting. But I think the quintessential one, it's so interesting when people say, oh yeah, I was a big fan of your dad. I love the songs he did. And I will ask them, well, what songs are those? And they can't name any of them. And I said, well, the songs he did, because dad basically sang the same songs everybody else did. It's just the way he sang them and his arrangements is what made him unique. His vocal, his vocalization of those songs, he did all the same songs except for the Christmas song, and he didn't have the hit record. Nat King Cole did. So it's just interesting to be part of this family and have that song be literally a legacy that is kind of carried on. And now my daughters can sing it with me. So I'm really lucky to have this, which is a long-winded answer to your question.
No, I mean, it answers my question.
Yeah, it's, I on stage tonight, I was talking to the audience about the fact that there's a story that I tell before I do that song, that many of the Christmas songs, the standard Christmas songs that came out of, the early and middle 40s were written by songwriters who I think were trying to make people feel better because World War II was raging. The whole friggin' planet was on fire. And I think these guys were writing songs to try and make people feel better. And as it turns out, a lot of them were Jewish songwriters who were writing Christmas songs. The best known tune is probably White Christmas. And that's Irving Berlin, who was a Jew. And I tell the story of 2 other songwriters who were in Hollywood in 1945, an extremely hot day in California and Hollywood. Sammy Cahn and Julie Stein were working on a song together. And they got about a half an hour into it. And Sammy Cahn turned to Julie and said, look, I'm sweating profusely. I'm uncomfortable. Let's get in your car. You've got a convertible. Let's drive down to Santa Monica. Let's get the ocean breeze in our lungs. Let's get the air in our hair. Let's get rejuvenated. We'll come back and we'll finish the song. And I think Sammy Cahn said, you know what? We're so close now. If we leave now, we're going to lose our mojo. We're going to not be able to finish the song. So they stayed there. And on that very hot July day, they wrote, let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. So it became a standard. 2 weeks later to the day, and it was even hotter. It was like one of the hottest days on record in LA. 2 other Jewish songwriters were getting together to do a writing session. And this is the story that I tell on the show. And one of them lived in Beverly Hills. The other one lived in the San Fernando Valley, which is about 15 degrees hotter than the West Side anytime in the summer. But they decided to do an early writing session to beat the heat. They scheduled it for like 9:30 in the morning. So one of them drove out to the other guy's house out in the valley, and he walked up to the front door, knocked on the front door, no answer. And he just opened the door and walked in because in 1945, you could do that. People didn't lock their doors. And he can hear that his songwriting partner is in the shower trying to cool off, this early in the morning. It's 97 degrees already at 9:40 in the morning. So the guy who drove to the house goes over to the piano and he sees a piece of paper on the piano with 4 lines of lyrics written on it. And he looks at it, and his partner comes out of the shower, and the first thing he says is, look, I know it's hot, but at least throw on a towel. No, he didn't really say it. That's the joke that I used. So he said, I think we have a song here. And on that day, Robert Levinson, who changed his name to Bob Wells, and my dad, Melvin Howard Torma, who changed his name to Mel Tormé, wrote the Christmas song in about 40 minutes. So you had White Christmas, Let It Snow, and Chestnuts Roasting, all written by Jewish songwriters. So go figure. That's all I have. So the Penguins were going to the beach.
And they didn't close their doors right until the Manson murders. Charlie Manson.
That's pretty true.
Yeah.
Yeah, people left their doors open. Their neighbors would come over. Yeah, that kind of changed things a little bit.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Were you there that summer?
Yes.
I was too.
I was there that summer, and I was also in Brentwood when OJ was in the Bronco on the 405. That was interesting. There is a book, but I can't write it yet.
So
my
SMT,
children are alive, so I can't.
SMT, I was just thinking, what if your daughters wanted to record the Christmas song? Would they have to pay royalties?
Twice as much, yes. Yeah,
They have to change their name.
Yeah, twice as much because I'm paying for their friggin' college.
Well,
so
yeah, it's only right.
No, you know what? I don't think so.
How would that? No, that was serious though. I was trying to be funny, but
no, I don't think so because
they're family members.
Bob Wells's family sold their share of that back to Sony.
Oh,
I'm sure made a pretty nice lump sum of money. But the Tourmaliners family still owns their half of the Christmas song, and my girls would be considered part of the family, so they wouldn't have to. Yeah,
exactly. Okay,
I hope they do. They're both terrific singers. I'd love them to sing it.
Given what we're talking about here, Deven, you sort of have the same situation with your dad and Wipeout.
Yeah.
Now, how does that all work?
The publishing part of it?
Yeah, I mean, if you and the Tourmaliners wanted to record any of those old classics that the Surfaris did, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, there were originally two publishers, kind of like the Christmas song, and both of them have passed away, and their estates now had owned it up until about 2 years ago. One of the owners of the publishing of Wipeout actually gifted the band 50% of the publishing rights.
wow.
That they didn't have. They never owned their own publishing back there. They were teenagers in the 60s, early 60s when the song came out, kind of a garage band hit, right? And so they were kind of taken by the music business, like a lot of young artists back then were. But because they signed contracts that were, they were minors when they signed the contract. And when the parents found out that they signed a contract, actually my grandma, my dad's mom, got an attorney in Los Angeles, and they sued both publishers and ended up negotiating a very nice deal for the members of the band on the writer's side. But still the two original publishers own the publishing up until 2 years ago. Now the Surfaris, led by my dad's leadership, have their own publishing company and own half the song now, flat out with the publishing and the writers. The other half is owned by the Delvey family, and so they carry the international rights, and the Surfaris now carry the national. So, like, if Disney picks the song up for a movie, like they did for Toy Story, Wipeout was in Toy Story, and so they would come to to the Surfaris personally, to their publishing company now, and ask for the rights to use it in the domestic usage, and then have to go to the other side and get the international usage outside the United States. But yeah, if I wanted to re-record the song, I would be paying like anybody else, unless I got some special dispensation for my dad. and he would have to get 3 other band members and their families and beneficiaries, because he's the only, well, out of the 4 guys that wrote the song, 2 of them have passed away in their estates. The original drummer, Ron Wilson, his daughter, Keegan, who I'm actually Facebook friends with, would have to say, yeah, we'll gift that to you. But I wouldn't want to do that. I mean, personally, if we recorded, I don't think we're going to re-record anytime soon.
Well,
I think the original did a nice job. I don't think they need somebody. There's over 1,000 known recordings of Wipeout to date by 1,000 different artists. So
you
with
just
the same drum pattern, obviously.
yeah, but I've heard many of them, not all 1,000, but I would say enough to know that there's something special about that original drum part that's unlike any other drummer, because when you hear, like a lot of times when you hear a drummer play it sounds more like a drum solo than an actual written pattern. And there is an actual written pattern to it where the accents happen in a certain way that make it Wipeout versus just a drum solo and someone banging on the toms on the drum. It actually has a cadence, they call, like a marching cadence, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know, if I toyed around with the idea, I would have to find the right drummer. I'd love to find a drummer who would really study the original and get it precise, perfect, and could really bring out the nuance and make it sound right. But actually, I have the privilege of re-recording the song with my dad in his current lineup. I play guitar with him when he goes out and plays. I play second guitar, so my brother played the drums on it, and he did a pretty nice job of it. So we actually re-recorded it ourselves in a new version with Pro Tools and the modern digital technology, and you'll hear our newer version up against the old version. Most people can't tell the difference, so you can go
on the original version. Were those Mosrite guitars?
No.
The
Ventures played Mosrites.
Oh, okay.
Simi Mosley, yeah, he was out of Bakersfield. I like the guitar. It's a nice guitar. In fact, I recorded on a 65 Mosrite on our first album. But no, my dad, the original lead guitar. Well, my dad played rhythm on it, and so he was the one that came up with all the breaks. Or the guitar breaks, and it was in the key of B. Those were his. Was more arrangement ideas.
They wrote a guitar song in the key of B.
Yeah, well, that was unique. That was
not your usual thing.
Well, that was what my dad brought to it. In fact, he tells a story where he says, "Listen, every song we play is either an E or A, open chord kind of thing." He said, "Why don't we try something fresh, something new out of the box? Let's do something like B or something, And so when you hear him hit those power chords on the breaks where the drums come in, it's B right there. But anyway, I forget where I was in the story, but basically, yeah, it's a song.
We were talking about Christmas. I said we were talking about Christmas.
Christmas.
You gotta go in there and just use Wipeout to lead into one of those old hymns.
I don't know. We'll see. The Surfaris did do a couple of Christmas singles. If you remember, the Beach Boys came out with Little Saint Nick and some of those other. I think they did "Oh Holy Night" or "The Lord's Prayer" or something very beautiful. Brian Wilson arranged, 4-part harmony kind of stuff. He did some really nice Christmas stuff. So the Surfaris were on Decca Records at the time, Pat Boone's label.
That's right. Yep.
And so they asked them to do a single, a 45 with 2 songs, and they did a song called "Santa's Speed Shop," and then I forget what the other song's called, but you can find it online. Just type a Google search for the Surfaris Christmas, and it comes up a couple songs.
What is the Christmas song that is ragged on the most that you guys might be aware of?
Wonderful Christmas Time.
Wonderful Christmas
That's
Time.
exactly right. That was the answer.
Rightfully so.
I heard it tonight. Right before I got home, and I was like, "How do I feel about this song today?" 'Cause I feel like I feel differently about it every time I hear it. I don't hate it.
No,
I think it's curiosity. I think it's not very good, but I think it's fun.
I feel a little strange ragging on it just because, Danny, you played on a version of it recently with Fox Menagerie.
Yeah,
That was good though.
I went in and I was like, "We're doing this song out of all the songs,
With all the songs in
I
all the
wasn't
world.
feeling it." And I made that known, but it ended up being a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. So personally, anyways, I thought so. I was like, all right, well, but I guess that's the power of adding a little accordion and 4-part vocals. You know, it can
A
kind
little bit of that Fox Menagerie sauce.
Yeah. Joe did a really nice job to get some different chords and make a jazz it up, I guess, a little bit. So,
Michelle, have you done a Fox Menagerie?
I think I did one.
Because that would seem to be a natural for you.
Yeah, I kind of like doing my own thing.
I get it.
I'm not one of a menagerie, really.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about
Danny plays with everybody.
about doing your own thing though, and Danny passed along to me your song "This Christmas," and it really, I heard it and I was just like, wow, this is so cool. And I kind of, there's, say for example, some of the tracks on Tyler's new album, and then Steve's I Remember Christmas, and This Christmas, you could play all of these together and just get the warm fuzzies, and just they're wonderful things. They're very personal, and man, I really would encourage anybody that's watching this right now to check all this stuff out. It's really cool stuff.
So Danny, did you write a song called This Christmas?
Michelle did.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's not the Donny Hathaway tune.
No, it's not that one. It's
Okay.
just it's a song I wrote maybe 10 years ago. Our kids were smaller,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a music video with it as well. It's on my Michelle LL YouTube.
Nice.
If you check it out.
And what is the gist of the song?
The gist is that, this Christmas, let's make it different. Let's forget about all the earthly things that we're all tied up in, and try to remember more of the nostalgic, the meaning of Christmas. So,
I mean, that's one of the hardest things to do with a holiday song, because they've all been written. I mean, we all know all
Right.
these songs, and every single theme has been written. So when you try to sit down and write a holiday song, it's like, all right, how do I avoid mistletoe, Christmas trees, caroling,
Presents.
skating? It's hard.
Tyler did it.
I was kind of picturing,
A couple times.
I don't know if I should say that, but yeah, like growing up, we always had such great memories as Christmas. But I do remember my dad hated Christmas, he wasn't into it. So
He still does. He still does.
Why is Dad so? He's just not feeling the Christmas spirit, I guess. And my mom would do all the work. Most of the
I
time.
love your dad.
Yeah.
I would love to see you go. Is your dad still with us? I hope.
Yes.
All right, I would love to see you go to your dad and go, Dad, Merry Christmas. He goes, F you.
Why'd you hate it?
Well, and now that our family is so big, Michelle has 4 siblings, and they all have kids. So we all come, and Papa Raj there, he's just like, oh no, everyone's home.
It was always an expensive time of the year for him.
Where do you hold Christmas? Whose house is it at?
We go to all over. We try to hit everybody and do as many family things as we can, because it's our time when we're not super, super busy,
But
Yeah.
for the Tull side, it's always back at the farm. That's in
Mom and Dad's. Yeah.
Kewaskum, just a little north of West Bend.
Good for you.
And you're from Scumtown?
Yes. That's what they used to call it. I guess they still do call it.
Oh,
they call it K-Town now.
It's K-Town now. Yeah.
Okay.
It changed a little bit, Frank.
Well, being as old as I am, sorry about that.
So
Well,
Tyler, if you had your choice to do your Christmas stuff, what would be the ultimate configuration of musicians you'd want to do it with? Would you ever want to do it with a symphony orchestra?
Oh yeah. I mean, I think I'm really used to playing by myself, so like anytime
That's a little too personal, Tyler. But anyway.
You know what I mean? Welcome to the lounge. No, so but I like I don't get the chance to play with a band all that often. So like anytime I do is really just kind of like a little bit of trial and error, so like finding out which pieces are the most fun to play with. Like I said, I'm really excited to have a saxophone this week.
You guys somewhere. Yeah.
I love playing with keys.
You're having a saxophone player at your upcoming gig
at August Haven, yeah.
August Haven, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And I understand. Is Rick playing with you too?
Yep, Rick will be there too.
Good.
And
So
then
I think you should play with the Fox Valley Symphony Orchestra at the PAC, but that's me.
Well, you pass my number along.
I will do so.
But like it's fun, especially because like this album, I wrote them all. So like so it's really fun to get out with a full band and play them, just because so that makes them less elegant. It gives them a little bit more beef, and so I'm excited about that part.
Good for you. Well, again, I'm sorry I'm not going to be there because I'm sure it's going to be fun for you.
I'll feel you. I'll feel a little gust of wind blow through. Oh, there he is. SMT. Thank you for coming.
Fair enough.
All right.
You drive safe though. It's supposed to be kind of bad, I think.
Yeah, I think Manitowoc is about an hour drive, but with the snow, it's going to be a good hour and a half.
I heard Marinette earlier, so never mind.
We're going to go to Marinette. Marinette's an hour and a half with the snow. That's 2 hours. The one I'm really looking forward to is Eau Claire. That should be a lot of laughs. That's 3.5 hours if there's no snow. So fortunately, we have rooms. So looking forward to it.
So,
Steve, how are the gigs going this year?
How are the gigs going?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thankful. I mean, they've been great. We did 2 shows at the Fox Cities Performing Arts Center. Afternoon show was close to sold out. Evening show was sold out. So I'm thrilled. It was great. We started at the Thelma Sadoff and sold that out, but that only seats like 150 people. So that was very nice. And we did 2 nights at the Grand Opera House in Oshkosh, which I understand. Have you guys played there? Danny and Michelle, you played the Grand, yes?
A long time ago, yeah.
Deven, have you played there?
I haven't frequented the greater Oshkosh area yet.
Well, is there a greater area? That building is really old, and it needs the old lady needs more than mascara, and they are apparently going to renovate it to the tune of $10 million. They have 5 raised. They got to come up with another 5, but it's a great. It sounds great, but again, they need to kind of upgrade it. So anyway, to answer your question, they're so far so good. I mean, the best part for me, besides the fact that I'm playing with such good musicians, I mean, I'm playing with the cream of the crop. It's Chris Feltz on sax and Kenny Skitch on bone and Tyler Jones and Mike Underwood on drums and Michael Murphy. It's all the best players. But to be able to do it with my daughters, to be able to sing the Christmas song and pull them up on stage, they know what a clown I am, so that at least they're not making fun of me that much on stage. That's been a real thrill for me. I'm not going to bring them to these next 3 gigs because if I said, "Hey guys, what do you think about driving to Eau Claire and singing one song?" I don't think that's going to fly, unless I go through their agent. So we'll see. But so far so good. I do like the holiday season, and again, I'm fortunate that I can kind of build a show around this song and go out from there.
Right. Frank, you have a great way of these strings, tracing these threads of songs back to Wisconsin, and just in the lexicon of stuff that I mean, what's the most famous Christmas tune to come out of Wisconsin?
Better ask those guys. Don't ask me.
Well, you stumped me because I don't know. I do not know. Christmas
Rob, do you
songs-
know?
Christmas songs
I
come
don't
out
know.
of New York. They come out of LA. They come out of, I mean, the ones we all know, from Silver Bells to Steve's father's song. They come out of professional showbiz, Tin Pan Alley,
Yeah, I was just going to say they come out of
Standards Land. They don't come from here.
Though
Who's
I
to
don't
say
know where,
Mir Michelle didn't
I
write
don't know
it?
where the Mariah Carey song came from, but I'm going to guess Los Angeles. I would think.
Oh yeah, that song. Jesus. Anyway,
You know what? Wait a second. I do know the song. The most famous song that came out of Wisconsin that's a Christmas song is called "It's a Culver's Christmas." Thank you.
that could be though. That could actually be.
Culver's Christmas. It's a beautiful song.
But where South Dakota has, if anything comes from the middle states, it's like South Dakota with Yogi Jorgensen singing "I Just Go Nuts for Christmas."
That guy
Things like
part of
that.
my youth.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And that kind of stuff. But big Christmas songs.
Nah.
Yeah.
I think maybe Mir Michelle wrote it. The most
Might
famous
be.
Wisconsin Christmas
Might
song.
be.
I don't know. I don't know that we did.
I like the idea behind her song of just having Christmas and not all this crap that just pressures everybody.
Yeah. You know, I have a couple of friends who are going through a tough time this year. They've lost family members, and it really is pushed upon everybody for obvious reasons. That, you know, it's Christmas time of the year. Let's all be cheery and there are presents and da da da. But the truth is, this is the toughest time of the year for a lot of people.
Sure
Because
is.
you have memories. You go, oh, that person is not with us anymore. They're not at Christmas, and I lost my this or that during Christmas. So it's a tough time. Because obviously, I'm not telling anything that we don't know. It has been commercialized, you know, to the yin yang. It's just, it's every commercial you see. It's every food place you see. It's all geared towards Christmas. But it is nice when people can take care of each other at this time of year, because it is tough for a lot of people. It just is. It's just tough. A lot of people are by themselves during Christmas, and that sucks.
And speaking of that, I heard a great Christmas song the other day, Nashville singers, called "Christmas in Rehab." It's a great tune. I was laughing from beginning to end. I actually felt Christmassy, which I could never say for
Cheer you up,
that Mariah
Steve.
Carey thing. That Mariah Carey
You know,
thing,
I'm gonna have another
hit
drink.
a rock and throw at something, you know.
What about an 8-minute song about a lion cub?
I was just
Who
about
knows?
to there.
My album has a 8-minute long story song about breaking into a zoo to steal a lion cub for my son.
Really?
This
It's
is
8 minutes long about
Hand to God.
I love that.
Will
So
you be
like a
performing it
couple years
Thursday?
ago. What's that?
Will you be performing it on Thursday?
I will be, yeah.
Are you really on Thursday? You're doing that song?
Oh yes.
Oh,
So a couple years ago, my son,
You're gonna miss it.
who's 6, he had asked for like a lion cub, and I put the idea away. And then this year, when I was putting the songs together, I was like, I'm gonna make a story song about breaking into a zoo for this lion cub, and it's ridiculous. It's kind of in the vein of like your Alice's Restaurant, like talking blues style, and it's fun. It's a lot of talking. every time I get done with it, I'm like, God damn, it's a long song.
That is
But-
you are way too young to know about Alice's Restaurant.
No, I'm not. I celebrate Thanksgiving just like everyone else. What's that?
Lion Cub song is on the show. Outstanding.
Yes.
From
Well,
Rob.
tomorrow's podcast, and my gift to you, to you guys that are on the screen, and to those that are watching the stream, I'm going to give you a little gift, and you can hear the holiday extravaganza show a night early. And Tyler's Lion Cub song is on there. Michelle's
boy.
This Christmas is on there. We've got Deven, his band is on there. With that Oh, Come All Ye Faithful that we were talking about, the Endless Summer opening on there. And so, Steve, your song, I Remember Christmas, that was on last.
I remember Christmas time. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for including that. I appreciate it.
Yep. And now you actually did 2 versions of it, because you have one that you sing solo and one with Hillary Reynolds.
Very good. You are correct.
Yeah. And I bring that up because I'm going to be interviewing Miss Hillary next week. So she'll be the first episode of 2025, I believe.
Well, there are, I've heard Michelle sing a lot. I've heard Michelle play that big white guitar many, many times. And I'm a fan.
Yeah, cool
and
guitar.
There are, which I've told her that. And there are 3 female, well, actually there are 5 female singers that I'm a big fan of. Michelle is one of them. Hillary Reynolds, who I think is a wonderful singer, a terrific singer. And the 3 ladies that make up Pegasus. The Peguero sisters, Rizzle and Yaina and Marvelous from Pegasus. I'm a big fan of all of them. And besides recording I Remember Christmas Time with Hillary, I also did it with Marvelous, and she's got a beautiful voice, and those girls harmonize so well. Mm-hmm. So thank you for mentioning it, and good for you doing this with Hillary. I mean, and I think Michelle will back me up on this, hopefully. The female singers that I love the most are the ones that don't sound like they're auditioning. The ones that don't feel like, I've got to throw the entire kitchen sink into every single thing I sing. If you keep it simple, stupid, in my book, you're going to be a terrific singer. The people that I love are people like Hillary, Katie Lang, people that it's like, you got the gig. Just settle down. You're good. And Michelle sings like that. She doesn't over-sing. She just sings well. But my opinion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I agree. There's only so much you can do, right?
Well, you know what?
You get the feeling across, and that's basically what you want them to get, Yeah.
If you have the goods that you can actually hit some high notes here and there that an audience will go, whoa, I had no idea, then make it sparingly. Because if you're doing it all the time, you've kind of lost the novelty of the fact you can do it. So the best singers kind of keep a little bit in reserve. And every once in a while they go, boom, you go, wow, but not all the time. But I'm preaching to the choir.
Well, folks, let's just, we've got a little bit of time here. Let's just kind of go around the horn and, let's just say, what's your favorite and what's your least favorite Christmas album, Christmas tune? And we'll just start, Deven.
Geez. Well, I told you my favorite Christmas movie was White Christmas, so I have to go with the White Christmas theme. The classic. In fact, I watch it every year with my family when we put up our little Christmas tree. You can see behind us. I always make my daughters watch it, and anytime it comes at the end with the Christmas tree at the end and everybody's all dressed in, the Santa regalia, I always kind of get a little misty-eyed because I remember sitting down watching that as a kid with my dad, mom, and my grandparents. It was always some kind of that and It's a Wonderful Life, those 2 movies. So the songs, of course, are just indelible. So I would say that's my favorite. And my least favorite, it's probably that one by Run DMC. The hear the ball, that one. That's probably my least favorite.
Yep.
Right. But I
Frank,
kind
what about you?
Throw it on me after the years,
What about you, Frank?
My favorite Christmas album is a hard to find thing, but it's up on Spotify. It's an album by Peter Buffett, and he wrote part of the score of Dances with Wolves and other motion pictures. He worked with John Barry quite a bit, and he had a career in the early 90s out of Milwaukee, even though he's not from Milwaukee, he's from Omaha, Nebraska. But Peter had an album that goes so easy on the ears. It's just lovely, and I can just play it over and over and over. It's called Star of Wonder, the entire album, and it has lovely song selection. and he brings in other performers, pop in and out. But that's my favorite Christmas album. The Mariah Carey song is the thing I hate more than anything on this planet. I'm not. There it is right
You're
now.
not alone. A lot of people have kind of had their fill of it.
Yeah, I hated it the minute it was sung. The very second I hated it.
All right, Tyler, what about you?
Well, I can't say Mariah Carey. I don't want Frank to look at me like I'm just kidding. So, as my favorite, I mean, my favorite album, Christmas album right now, is actually the Leslie Odom Jr. album. He's like he was the guy from Hamilton, incredible singer, and yeah, it was just like talking what Frank is saying, kind of easy on the ears. Like it was one of those ones that I didn't have to skip any songs, and especially because right now, contemporary Christmas music is all the same songs for the most part. There'll be like 9 of the 30 acceptable canon songs and like 1 or 2 covers, so or 1 or 2 originals that are kind of trying to aspire to the Mariah Carey throne, probably. So I like that album a lot. It's really good, and I like the Ray Charles one I was talking about, and then like the Phil Spector Christmas is incredible, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And then my least favorite, I don't really have one. I don't really like. I actually like just really enjoy Christmas music. There's some I don't want to hear at that moment, but I don't have a lot that I hate.
Right.
Yeah.
Danny and Michelle?
I would have to say my favorite Christmas song is called Once Upon a Christmas, written by Dolly Parton, which that whole album is amazing and produced so well. Kenny and Dolly, it's just a classic in our house. And my least favorite has to be, or I think one of the most annoying Christmas songs is Santa Baby. Like,
yeah, that song's terrible. I take back what I said.
That voice, it's just, yeah.
That song's terrible. It's just a terrible song.
So which version is worse, Madonna's or Eartha Kitt's?
Oh,
Madonna's is worse.
All right, I'll go next. And I agree with that. Yeah, Santa Baby's that's an annoying song. It's cloyingly cute and disgusting. I don't like it. My favorite, I do love Dad's song because it's a really beautifully written song. I mean, Chestnuts Roasting is a pretty sophisticated song, especially when you wrote it at 19. It's like, what? It's like, wow. So it's a beautifully written song. I think maybe I'll Be Home for Christmas, because knowing the story behind it, a soldier singing, I'll be home for Christmas, you can count him, and knowing full well he's not going to get home. He's not going to make it. That kind of gets me. My favorite Christmas album, by far, the first Christmas album by Take Six. Anything Take Six does floors me, period. They're my favorite singers in the entire world. And their first Christmas album, which includes a version of the Christmas song and Hark the Herald Angels Sing and all this stuff, the vocal arrangements make my skin go like this. So that they've got 3 or 4 Christmas albums, but the first one is just fantastic.
Yeah. Danny, what about you?
My favorite album has got to be Vince Guaraldi. I can listen to that even in summertime, guys. I don't mind. I might be driving to the post office in July. I don't care. I just love it. My least favorite has got to be McCartney's song. So and it's not the worst song. It just drives me crazy. But anyways, it's all good.
Okay, there you go.
Wonderful Christmas time.
Maybe we just need to polkify it up a little bit, Frank. Maybe that'll make it cool.
Yeah.
What about you, Rob?
Well, I guess for me, the sentimental favorite is Gene Autry, for a song anyway, his rendition of Jingle Bells is it blows me away. I mean, I've heard it since my very first Christmas. My parents played that stuff, and I think why it resonates with me is because that's the first song that I can actually identify where I can remember age 3, age 4, whatever. I'm picking out parts in that song, particularly the bass. And to this day, I cannot listen to that song without keying in on these specific parts. And it's just every time I hear it, it's just like, you got this Carl Kottner arrangement that is wonderful. I mean, for its time, I mean, that was back in, I think, I want to say the late 40s. That was
40s, early 50s.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then too, I love Handel's Messiah. I think it's the greatest piece of music ever written. And we sang a number of the choruses from it in high school, and Hallelujah obviously being among them. And I just have such a deep appreciation for that song, having sung it so many times. One year in Madison, I went to the annual Messiah Sing Out with the Madison Chamber Orchestra, and I think that was probably the only time I sung the entire piece all the way through. And wonderful thing. Not a wonderful thing is Wonderful Christmas Time.
So it's a good thing he wrote Eleanor Rigby, or we'd be really bagging on him,
And here's the thing. How many of you shop at Woodman's? Deven, we've got these huge grocery stores out here called Woodman's. So you go into Woodman's at this time of year, and not only is the problem of everybody walking around, in their own space, oblivious to everybody else, but now you've got Wonderful Christmas Time and Mariah Carey. Every time you go in the show,
they played it twice last week.
It's on a loop. Those 2 songs.
And then there's somebody ringing a bell in the window too.
God, they could at least keep it in tempo, right?
I always think that like the person who's working 40 hours a week, like at the next till, but with like the ringer there for a whole month,
Right.
hearing that 40 hours a week, I would lose my mind.
That's why they put the self checkouts right by that door.
But I'm saying for the staff.
Yeah, true.
Yeah,
The service desk.
If there's any staff at like festival listening right now, I see you. I should have said too, I do have a favorite like individual song. It's Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. And for the same kind of similar reason to what you're saying about I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Yeah.
Like it feels like a song that like wishing like hope to people who probably aren't, or wishing a Merry Christmas to someone who's probably not going to get it.
Is there a certain version that you like, Tyler?
I guess like lately I've really been listening to that Leslie Odom one. There's also a bluesier one that I liked a lot. I can't remember who did it though. I'm sorry. I'm drawing a blank right now.
You're talking about Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas?
Right.
James Taylor has a beautiful version of that too.
Yeah, he does have a really good version.
Everything James Taylor does is a beautiful version of a song. So
yeah. That's the only cover I did on my album.
That's a beautiful tune. Great tune.
The Pretenders did a respectable version.
Oh,
of
they
that.
did.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Same album as that Run DMC number.
All right.
All right.
It's Backdoor Santa, right? Like the the riff
Yeah,
is.
Bon Jovi was on
George
this.
Sand. Yeah, that was a good one. That was Bon Jovi, right?
Well, let's kind of go around the horn here. We'll sew things up. And, starting with Steve, where can folks find you online and pick up your music?
Nowhere. I prefer people not listen to what I'm doing. To tell you the truth.
I don't believe that.
My website, stevemarch-torme.com. Simple as that. Steve, M-A-R-C-H, like the month, Torme, T-O-R-M-E. stevemarch-torme.com. Also, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. I Remember Christmas Time was just released again this year about two or 3 days ago, so they can find that on Spotify. And hopefully they'll like it. And that's where to find me. Simple as that.
Wonderful. Danny and Michelle?
copperboxband.com and also Facebook, Michelle LL.
All right. Sounds good. Tyler?
My album's on all streamers and on Bandcamp. Tyler SJ is the name. A Little Piece is what the album is called. And I'm on Facebook and www.tyler-sj.com.
All right. And one thing I want to make note of with your album, Tyler, and I think Kurt Gunn said it best, was this is an album that you can listen to all year. This isn't something that you just turn on in the month of December and then leave it the rest of the year. It's that good. The songwriting is incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll be playing it obviously on Thursday at
Good,
August David.
good. We're playing your music on the Avenue, as you know. So
Yeah. I got two different people saying they heard it at different gas stations at two different places.
I think they heard it. I think they heard it at Woodman's.
Oh, well. I mean, we know the company I'm in then, if it's Wonderful Christmas Time, and then me.
Did you ever think you'd outclass a Beatle?
I mean, not that one. Ringo, maybe. But I'm just kidding. That's for Mark Goldie. He says no Ringo bashing.
All right. Frank, what about you?
What about me?
What about me? How you doing?
Are we plugging? I forgot. Are we plugging something or
Yes,
You're
we're going to find out about you.
You're plugging yourself.
Oh yeah, I do want to plug something. I'm all over the place online, everywhere. I'm doing a show, my favorite charity in Madison. We're performing at the Sylvie with Silver Sun Pickups, Portugal the Man, and the Bangles, and so many great bands, and my own band with Butch and Duke from Garbage and Freddie Johnston and a couple of Appleton characters. And we're going to, it's going to be a great week of music down there. So look up, if anyone's listening, look up joeysong.org and you'll get all the information. Oh, and a big comedy show this year with funny man Dana Gould. He's Dr. Zayas online. And Joel from MST3K is doing a comedy show, and I'm going to be in the on-stage band for that as well. But it's a great charity. Come down and spend your money.
All right. And you can also hear Frank on Wisconsinology at wisconsinology.com.
Yeah.
Some great storytelling there.
Yep.
Great history lessons. Again, I will say the best 5-minute history lessons on planet Earth, period.
Really?
Really?
Huh. Well, I have quite a few duds in there too.
Believe me, your duds outshine so many others.
Wonderful Christmas Time. Outshine Wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go.
Well, thank you, Rob.
You bet. Devin, how about you?
Yeah, you can. I kind of showed our album earlier, but if you go on Bandcamp, you can find us, the Tourmaliners. That's THE, obviously, and then many people can't spell tourmaline. It's just like the stone, the precious stone. Tourmaline, Tourmal. I can't spell it. Tourmaliners, looks like Tourmaliners, basically. You go to the Tourmaliners.com or on Bandcamp or at the Tourmaliners on our social medias, and you can listen to our music there, or download, or purchase an album.
Sounds good. And again, I really want to.
There it is.
Thank you, Michelle.
Except it's backwards, but
Yeah, I
yeah.
guess-
All right, maybe if you turn it upside down, there you go.
And I gotta say too, the Tourmaliners just a month ago released a fabulous new live album, and you know you hear so many live albums that they're practically re-recorded in the studio. This isn't. This is a fresh performance, and it's wonderful. So check that out as well.
Hey, Rob, if you don't mind, Steve, you were
Yeah.
asking about the guitars. I didn't answer your question. You asked if the Surfaris used Mosrite guitars. If you have 1 second, I'm going to grab a guitar on my wall here.
Oh, I love this stuff.
I'm sorry, Devin. I gotta go.
Is Michelle's guitar nearby?
This guitar right here it's not the original one, but this is what the lead guitar was played on. It's called a Duo Sonic.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Fender.
Yeah.
makes it.
Cool.
Yeah. This is a 64, an original. And
That's before the Jaguar, I think.
no, Jaguar is a little earlier. My dad
Really?
played a Jazz Master, which has that same kind of offset body with the bigger pickups.
Mhm.
But anyway, it's not Christmas.
Cool.
But anyway, this was the kind of guitar that they used, and it was just a student guitar, believe it or not.
Very cool.
That's
Very
great.
Yeah.
Rob, we got to do a show where we're all doing like that, showing off, you know, and talking about them and what they played on and everything. That's fascinating.
Well, okay, now we got Tyler coming in. Danny, Michelle.
My child's ukulele.
Bring it up.
Well,
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
I got Michelle's yoga ball. I don't know if that'll.
That counts. That's perfect.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy, here we go.
There we go.
I know where that came from. I know where Rob's guitar came from.
The thing about it is
Where?
I designed this, so it's kind of a real keeper.
Nice.
Devin, do you know Davy Allen?
Hum a few bars.
I don't know him personally, but I know he lives in San Diego County, I think.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
Yeah. I heard he was going to come to one of our shows. We played up in a city called Vista, California, which is near, I think, where he lives, and he was supposed to come, but I don't think he made it. But yeah, he's got that more distorted, kind of crunchy surf sound.
King of the Fuzz guitar.
Oh yeah, great stuff.
All right. Well, folks, we're going to sew this up here. And, you know, again, little Christmas gift. If you look in the chat here, you can catch some of these folks here, Michelle, Tyler, Devin, on the new show. It's not supposed to publish till tomorrow, but hey, take a listen to it tonight. Who cares if it's 10:30? Well, Devin, it's early out there. 8:30. So
8:30, yeah.
So, but thank you all for joining me tonight. And, you know, I hope we can make, you know, Into the Music a regular thing on YouTube here. And it's been a harrowing week. If you knew the tech issues that I have had in the last 3 days, it's been crazy, but it is so good to be here with you. Thank you, folks, for tuning in and watching. Please like, share, subscribe, follow the show on YouTube, or excuse me, on Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever you call it. The website, intothemusicpodcast.com. You can check out everything there, and that's about it. So
great to meet all of you. Have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, have a
Merry
great time.
Christmas.
Danny, Michelle, good to see you guys. Frank, you're a nut. Get out of here. Devin, thank you. And hey, Tyler, have a good time on Thursday.
I sure will. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rob.
See you guys.
Rob.
Take care.
Nice to
Merry
meet you.
Christmas.